This is Cindy.
And Michael.
And Bella is down here, possibly running around. She just gave Mike a horse.
More of a horse head than anything.
Horse head on a stick. Yes, that she doesn't know how to use yet. But Happy New Year's. And we should make sure we have sound. It looks like we do on our end, but verification of a sound check would be good. Your horsey is making noises. Yeah. So we have a few people in the room. We have Kiri from Built on the Rock, Diana, Justice Acres, your mom's here, and I think Diana was switching to the TV where she can't chat but can watch. But and Kiri has, hi there. You coming? You putting the horse in the TV? Yeah. Anyway, Kiri's had more snow than we did. It sounds like we've had a couple inches. That's about it.
I think we've gotten 1 to 2, like 2-ish inches lunch and 2 to 3 inches maybe. I don't know if we've had more than 5 or 6 inches in all of our total dustings and everything this season. So it's been very light.
Yeah, it has been.
Farmer's
So
Almanac
far.
said heavy winter, so I don't know.
Well, we're only just starting, so don't
Well,
speak too
Farmer's
soon.
Almanac, I don't give it a whole lot of.
Celtic Roots Farm, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, yeah, I hope everyone's having a good New Year so far. Somebody keeps handing me a horse to make it make noises. But yeah, no, our New Year has so far been fairly relaxing. We didn't do much New Year's Eve.
Nope.
We went to bed early.
That's probably the earliest I've been in bed on New Year's Eve in I don't know how long.
Yeah, well,
we don't usually do much for New Year's Eve. It's never been a huge event.
Having a 14-month-old who usually goes to bed earlier than this, she's having fun with her horse, is a little hard to make it stay up until midnight. So,
Rose is here.
Rose.
Or Rose and family, one of the two.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, I had to go back a little ways. Hi, Rose, or whoever else is watching. Happy New Year. And Sharon just joined in. Happy New Year. Yes, I know. And this one, I tried to get her to sleep at 7, and she slept for an hour and wouldn't let me leave her. She called me back. So she's up again. Yes. Yeah. Baby is a toddler now. She is getting big. And Rose, you gotta let us know, how is your baby doing? Oh, we have more toys coming.
Yeah, Bella's pretty much running all over the house.
And giving me toys. So yes, she is also being very distracting to me. Sorry about that. 13 Moons, hello. Yeah, we have a lot of things. So if you want to see, I think a basket just got dumped. If you want to see a few of the cute pictures, we went sledding for the first time on Christmas Day because we got our first snow on Christmas Eve. So that's the first time we really got a chance to go sledding. Just the other day, I saw this in back, which is basically a turkey highway. There were tons of turkey prints back there. But this has been what most of our December has looked like. No snow, chilly but not too bad. So pretty uneventful winter so far. But I'm trying to get back to the webcam. There we go. But yeah, she is getting big and moving all around. And Rose says her little one is crawling all over and standing up, holding on to things. Yes.
What do you want me to do with the basket? It's supposed to have toys in it.
It's empty toy basket for Daddy. Grammy Karen, hello. We have a lot of people coming in the room today that we haven't seen in a while. We have first active Christmas. Now this is before Christmas, but she was more excited about her stuffed chickens that are back there than Christmas presents initially. And then, oh, now I get Dada's shoes, his clogs. Thank you. She's also saying dada a lot. We have two nannies, basically, sitters, nannies. One that joins us here sometimes in the chat, but this is opening gifts from Anna, who brought a very appropriate farm that makes a bunch of farm noises, and they just found at, I think, a thrift shop or something.
And it was, I think, brand new. The animals were still in the little baggie. Nothing's damaged or dirty at all. It wasn't even a cleanup. It was like somebody just donated it in new condition.
Yeah.
For, it was a resale shop, but
Yep.
it was a really good find. Yeah,
And she loves it.
And it has what makes about 4 different noises when
Yeah.
you open different doors and things.
It makes a pig noise, a cow noise, horse noise, and chicken noise, and a sheep noise. So 5 different noises. And yeah, she's into the farm animals quite a bit. And she has been since I read that book to her and mimicked the farm animal sounds. But this is a picture just with our other nanny. This is our main nanny, Miranda, and she, I didn't get a picture of her opening her gifts up here.
I think I did, but
yeah, I did see a couple. They weren't great, but yeah, they were quick shots. But one of her favorite toys, by the way, is very simple. It's the rainbow ball. So yeah, so she had a lot of fun opening gifts.
She got a vacuum cleaner too.
She got a vacuum from Nanny Miranda.
She likes.
She does like the vacuum a lot.
To play songs.
It does play songs and it does make vacuum noises. Oh no, yeah, Rose, we're just doing first Sunday of every month, so we're not doing them every week anymore. But yeah, if you watch out on the first Sunday of the month, you should get it. But yeah, YouTube's not very consistent on its notifications either. But oh, yeah, you got it. That's a milk. Yeah.
Milk.
Sippy cups of milk. Okay. I didn't get many pictures of her opening gifts because we had Zooms going while we were opening gifts, but we did play with some of her new toys, and she's been playing with all the new toys and back. We've had a few projects going. I went and organized some of our wild herbs, dried herbs, and then that stack on the right was my Christmas gift from Mike, which is a stack of Nobby's tea, her wild herb blend tea. So have some of that going.
There was reishi and there was the...
that's the next picture.
That was the more important part of it, I guess.
The more important part. Maitake.
Costly part.
And the reishi. And we also have some dried dryad saddle. And you're talking about possibly being able to get
I know
chaga?
Somebody who has quite a bit of chaga, has property up in the UP.
Yeah.
And has pretty good abundance. And asked if we could get some, buy some from him.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to cut some of it up into some smaller cubes, which was fine by us.
Mm-hmm.
So I just ran into him this Saturday. I see him sometimes at market, but not as often this time of year. So hopefully he remembers, and we can make a deal and
yeah.
get
So
some chaga.
We'll get some chaga, reishi, maitake extraction going, hopefully in the next few weeks. And I'm just watching to make sure the sippy cup doesn't end up on its top. They're not completely leak proof.
They do pretty well.
They do pretty well. Yes.
Just the first concussion they give a drop off.
Yes. At least this one. Yeah. Okay. I get jealous of my organization, except that organization took, 6 months to get there.
There's been a table with herbs and seeds for over a year on it, so it's half cleaned off now.
Half cleaned off, and my next project is organizing seeds and trying to see what we have and get some ordered in this next week or so. Don't terrorize the kitty cat. You be nice. Good girl. She does usually pet nice, but we gotta watch that. And I think the kitty cat wants out.
He took out. He's over here.
Okay.
Hi,
we also had another project where we were working on the greenhouse and finally taking the shade cloth off and putting the plastic up. So we did that earlier in December, and let's see here. You're still doing markets.
Did market yesterday.
Yep.
We had
Outside.
a week off because market fell the day after Christmas, and nobody really wanted to get ready for a market on Christmas or go the day after, so they suspended market. But we are running an outdoor in an overhang of a building, but market this season because there's no access to the building. So we will be outside. We had about 6 vendors this yesterday, but that'll increase because some of the things like the bakeries were closed on New Year's Day, which meant they couldn't produce pastries and bread early enough in the day to be able to have sellable product for a market. So they would typically skip on when the calendar falls like this.
Yeah. But
that'll increase probably to about a dozen people. So, a dozen core vendors is pretty good in the middle of the winter.
And outside is usually inside a bingo hall, but that's closed right now. So, yep. Thank you. I get an empty basket too. Your toys are supposed to go in that empty basket, girl. Okay. So, yeah, still doing markets. The business is going pretty well. I should check on the chat a little bit. Oh, they're chatting with each other, I think, a little bit.
That's good.
That's fine. We have something that's a Dutch tradition around here that this isn't made by us at all, but it's one thing that
cup's made locally.
The cup is made. The mug is made locally.
It's a very good potter. He makes his stuff is not inexpensive, but
yeah, the pottery is good.
Very nice. Grayling ceramics.
But the stroopwafel on top is a very Dutch thing to do. You buy those stroopwafels and they're made to fit on top of your teacup or coffee cup, so it warms up and kind of melts the caramel in the middle and tastes really yummy. And we're dumping another basket.
That potter also, he has a medium-sized company. Not only does his stuff look really nice and feel really good, it's on the thicker side, but he makes beer mugs that are extra thick that can be frozen and will hold their chill because they're made thick to hold the chill longer, so you can keep your beverage colder. He also makes growlers for refills, and he does some of the a lot of the breweries around here have cups that you can buy if you're a regular, and you can hang on the wall, and you can sometimes decorate it or whatever, and they will. So he does some of those, but his are the growlers have a typical flip top. I don't have one, but has a flip top with the rubber seal on it and the ceramic clasp and everything. They're not cheap at all, but they're almost more ornamental. Like you don't really want to use them and crack them.
Yeah, no, that would be
But
sad.
They're really nice. So his stuff's great.
Yeah. So, and we've had lots of fun meals this month as well. So,
your homesteader.
Oh no! It broke your Homesteaders America mug.
Well, we have some Justin Rhodes farm tour mugs that are stainless steel because they're a big fan of stainless and non-corrosive metals for a lot of their and wood and really natural stuff. Well, they don't mind terracotta, but we happen to have a couple, just 2 of them, of stainless steel.
Yeah.
Hollow. So they have ones.
Those are the only stainless steel things we have. Everything else is ceramic when it comes to mugs.
I don't know if some people. So in India and other parts, it's common to eat on like stainless steel plates, but they actually have covers or bowls that you can put lids on, and they're sort of a universal thing, so they're pretty cheap. And there's places that will turn them in for like Hindu temples and other places where they cook in mass. They will basically hand out meals, or you will hand in your clean china, and they will fill it, and it's all stackable. So you could it's basically to go. It solves the to-go problem. All the trash is these stainless steel, so they're not that expensive, and they're multiply reusable.
Oh, Tim broke it. Oh no!
So you can buy those here, and I know people that use those as everyday storage and eating because they're just so universally, strong. You can't microwave them, but they don't break. So it's a neat idea for a high sustainable, high rigidity. Eating materials.
Hi, Green Gables. Welcome, welcome. So we do have, we're going to do our Ask the Chef. We're only 15 minutes in. Sorry, I'm speeding through. Um, I'm not doing a great job at watching the chat either with
I'm watching.
Bella in the background. But
Yes, Rose got it right. Rose, are you part Dutch?
stroopwafel. I said stroopwafel
Yeah, okay.
too, but yes. But she
Yeah,
might know what it is anyway. But yes, stroopwafels are a very Dutch tradition. I used to get them warm at the market in the Netherlands when I was on study abroad.
Well, and the Italians make pizzelles, which are pressed them. It's like a thin waffle, crunchy waffle, but sometimes those are pressed together into sandwiches with a syrup or a buttercream. I think the original stroopwafel was a little more cruder than the ones now that are so perfect because they would have been pressed. So it'd be neat to get a. I bet if you sold those at the market fresh, they'd go crazy.
Yeah, oh my goodness. So we should get on to our Ask the Chef and Food questions since we're already into food a little bit. This was Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
So you want to explain what that is? Because it's not what it looks like necessarily.
That is a rack of venison. So that's rib chops, the main rib chops, 8-bone rack. From we processed 5 head of deer this season, which we usually don't do any, but due to circumstances and having a helper and friends and neighbors that had deer that needed processing, we did the processing after they came in cleaned out. So we removed hides and portioned, and we're gonna make some sausage and a few things still. I've got some jerky running in a cool oven tonight. Most of it went back to the owners, but portions were gifted to me. And then actually half of one was gifted to me. So of that half, I cut a rack out carefully and did a French or standing rib roast, and we pan seared and ovened. And we actually did a impromptu live shoot of that, so that's on the channel. I'm just finishing that off, and
yeah.
We happen to have enough bones from the first 4. The last one we just did this week, we thought we were done, but we made traditional roasted venison stock, which came out very nice. And then we have used some of that for making venison shanks, braised, and then some of it we reduced down into demi-glace or well thickened, with vegetable and a little tomato and some red wine. And so this is demi-glace that was finished with a little red wine, and it's very, very nice. So all venison bones, no beef or veal or chicken bone in that. Yeah, those are lollipops. Those chops are a little big. Those are more like Colorado size. They're 2-inch plus eye on them. That was off of a pretty large buck. Well, it was a medium-sized buck. There was a larger buck that one person got. But yeah, those are definitely premium. I was just at a rough guess. So if I had to buy those on the open market, I'd guess they're $50 a pound for a rack of venison. But I don't really know. It's rarity as much as the flavor's nice.
It was really good.
This venison is just a tight, sweet, and extremely mild.
And this one loved it.
Grown on open acreage just outside of this area, just a little ways out, 15 miles, but all on somebody's vegetable garden. And then there's a lot of cornfields around, so they do eat a lot of corn. You can't avoid that around here, but it does keep them very mild and sweet compared to up north. So they're almost too mild. Yes, those are the ribs or the backbone. So the front of from the neck going down, you usually cut at rib 3. You get about 8, sometimes 9 chops out of that. And then the remaining length of that, sometimes people call it the back strap. The whole thing is the back strap or the loin. But you get the the sirloin or the end of the loin, which you can either cut little T-bones out of it, which are harder to eat, but actually more fun and a little more flavorful. Or you can take the bones off and you get the tenderloin and the backstrap sirloin. which can be either cut into little steaks or can be roasted as a whole boneless piece and sliced. All of them are, the most rare, highest price because they're tender and there isn't a lot. But I don't necessarily think they're the best cut. I think they're fine. The or the venison shanks that we made last week, haven't eaten them. Actually, I made them before Christmas, let them age a little bit before we bagged them up. Those are probably, I like those even a little better, I'd say. So. Wholesome Roots is breaking down. Where is that? Ryan calls from Lollipops. Yep. Breaking down the front and rear quarters tomorrow. That's you're doing that on venison, I'm guessing, or beef, or I know you don't eat your goats, so.
Yeah, she has milk goats, not meat goats.
Well, yeah.
But yes.
Yep. So you can do a nice boneless seared one as well. As with cleaning up the bones a little harder. You have to chine and handle the central spine carefully so it's cleaned up nice, and then you have to scrape all the bones. So it's a lot more work. But yeah.
Yep. So.
Yeah, frozen eggs. Well, if they get too frozen, they crack open. Obviously.
Did you say how many deer you broke down?
Yeah, 5.
5.
Yeah,
yeah.
We just finished one this week, so 5.
I was distracted by a little one.
Yeah, it was 4 bucks, 3 kind of medium-sized bucks, 1 quite large buck. One of them might have been a little bit older, one of the medium ones, and then a couple 2-year-old, 3-year-old doe that was nice size. So they were all of good, reasonable size.
Tina, she's just gonna have to learn how to make the stuff from Mike, so she can be the chef of the house. I never had that opportunity growing up, and I'm not one who likes to spend time cooking my food. I just get hungry and want food.
Yeah, freezing and thawing eggs. Eggs ideally shouldn't be frozen. You can freeze them as cracked, separate out the whites and the yolks. Dealing with sugaring them or stabilizing them, there's a few ways to do it, but multiple freeze thaws will affect their ability to be whipped and the coagulation of the yolk and the breaking down of the white. You can get below freezing on meat and eggs before they actually freeze. So even if they're out in the open, like meat doesn't really freeze till about 29 degrees, because you have natural minerals and salts and things which change the freezing point. I think eggs also can go a little below 32, so don't get too worried about it. But when it gets really cold, we've definitely had eggs freeze. And we usually if they crack open and freeze, we just toss them back to the chickens at some point.
Yeah, I mean when they freeze in the shell, they do crack open because obviously everything inside expands and the shell can't handle that. So most of the time we just give them back.
You would eat? Oh, I thought you would. Okay, yeah, I've eaten goat a bunch, mostly with Jamaicans and Caribbean style. When it's prepared, it's amazing. Reasonably well. It is amazing. So don't be afraid of it, but obviously if they're your pets, don't eat them. So.
Yeah. Mom took ground beef and ketchup on it. Okay. Other thing we had earlier this month, pork chop and sunchokes, I believe. Or is it potatoes? I think it was sunchokes.
Zoom in on that. I don't remember.
I can't zoom in on this app. It's definitely the pork chops. I believe it's
probably. I know there's probably some.
Either a combination of our potatoes and sunchokes. I believe that was early December.
Sense. I think there's some peas and bacon in there. Oh, and there's some jardinere in there, which we had made months ago.
Yes.
And like I see capers and stuff. That was jardinere on top, so that's kind of a spicy and vinegary Italian pickled vegetable.
So the peas were not from our garden, but the artichokes and the potatoes were. The jardinere was homemade.
Pork was from nowhere special.
Yeah, but that was our first sunchokes that we've grown though, that we ate. So they were definitely good, and we held them after a number of frosts. So We've had a bunch of back and forth frost.
These are giant
thaw.
or colossal sunchokes. They were quite sweet and mild, and
They were good.
different varieties and under different conditions. They have different
And
flavors.
well, what's the advantage of pulling them after frost though?
Well, they sweeten up like all root vegetables, but then the big thing is it's supposed to limit
The gassiness.
the gas and becoming fartichokes.
Yes.
So.
So I had no issues with those. They were really nice. And yes. So we had that.
And those are just slivered in pan sautéed. You know, you can mash them, you can puree them, you can make beautiful soup with them. You can roast them whole. You can peel them or not peel them or half peel them.
Yeah.
You can cut them in coins. You can fry them. You can shave them. So yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah. Yep. So we still
You can
have
eat
a
them
bunch.
raw too. You can shave them thin and eat them raw and make a
Some
nice
people have
little
more issues raw
carpaccio.
here, but I
Yeah,
haven't tried them.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's just got some extra fibers, crude fibers in it. But if you're used to eating a lot of beans in a highly vegetarian diet or vegan diet with a lot of legumes, you won't have any problem anyways because you're used to making a little more of that. But for all the rest of us that don't eat beans every day.
Puddin has a new nickname. Yeah, Puddin apparently woke up. She was on the bottom bunk of the bunk beds in Bella's room because Bella sleeps on a mattress on the floor right now. There you go. You're going to give Oma to Puddin?
Oh yeah, if your eggs are cold but not cracked, don't worry about it. I mean, you can always do the traditional crack them into like a custard cup or a little side ramekin and inspect them. You can always do that anyways, just to see if there's a blood spot or and if it looks like the white is really runny, there shouldn't be anything wrong with it. But if it looks really runny or the yolk looks kind of semi-solid, you can choose how you use it. You could probably scramble it into eggs, do a scrambled egg regardless, and no effects. So
now I have to play guard of the dog. She settled on the couch and sometimes
the Afghan. Of course, you're the Afghan. You got that.
Oh,
you got
this
that
one?
as a gift. Oh, this one or the one on the couch?
No, this one is
my cousin?
From your cousin. Your cousin made it for us, for Bella. Hold on. I know. Bopping the dog in the nose, baby.
She's going to growl at you.
Yeah, she's gotten growled at about 2 times.
2 or 3 times. Always Bella's fault, of course.
Yes.
Trapping her in a corner and bopping her or something.
On the face, yes.
Otherwise, she's been quite tolerant.
She's actually been really good.
Yeah, the other red Afghan over there,
I don't think you can see that.
Maybe so that one was
but
a gift. It's a nice quality one, but it was purchased.
Pendleton blanket back there. Yes. And you are a wiggle worm.
Yeah. So my cousin, when she was in the Navy and bored and tough and sick of beating up boys and roughhousing, decided to go pick up crocheting, which we all thought was funny. Although her mother and grandmother, great grandmother, all did a lot of crocheting, so I guess it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
But yes. So she asked if she could make.
I
think she made a little hat or what else? She made 2 things, but I don't think the hat fits anymore.
No.
But the blanket's
we also
good.
got a couple hats from a coworker that I work with.
We have
That's another thing.
Yeah.
We got to talk about what our plans are for this year. I mean, some of our goals, we've been pretty slow on getting some of our stuff done, but slow and steady here. A little one distracting at all times can actually make it a little hard to get goals done. But okay. Yeah, the one I'm holding.
Are you done with the food stuff? Because it looks like you still have food.
I do still have food stuff, so we'll come back to that. But this is more to do with
Okay, so those are the venison shanks.
Yes.
So those were floured, salt, pepper, lightly floured and seared, and going in a pan, a big hotel pan or restaurant pan to braise. Those are on the quite large size if you're used to lamb shanks. It's the hind shank, but it's in the foreground is very large. That's probably 3 pounds or something. It's incredible. So those were, then we put stock over the top of that, a couple bottles of wine, it's just some cheap red wine, and onion, carrot, celery, a head of garlic, salt, pepper, bay leaf, thyme. Really, really simple. We didn't mess with it. And then cooked it for about 4 hours till it was tender. I've only picked at the pieces. I took all the sauce, strained out all the sauce, took the fat off, quartered that up, and then I let everything cool. because shanks and braises need to reabsorb the liquid. If you take the liquid off and let them cool, they can get dry. So and then I later took off the sauce, cleaned it up, and sent most of those away again back to the owners. A couple tails got thrown in there too for the extra flavor and gelatin. So we don't waste anything on there. The tails, all that, don't, you know, the hide we didn't. Well, one of them went to be mounted, but the rest went away. But meat and bone wise, we use everything for something.
I guess you also made a trip to Ann Arbor, and there's one place in Ann Arbor that's pretty traditional.
Yeah, I've made a couple of them. I'm going again on Tuesday.
Tuesday, but
I'm doing my route, my east side of the state route, which I do about every 3 or 4 weeks. About every 4 weeks right now.
So
we ran into Zingerman's Delicatessen, which is a quite famous Jewish style or New York Jewish style deli that happens to be in the Midwest. It's made it on many TV shows and referenced in many cookbooks. Happens to be in our hometown. I had one of the guys that works for me wanted some Benton's bacon. If you've heard of the famous Benton's bacon, they happen to carry it in slabs and cut it to order. It's fiercely expensive. They also have Queernow, I think it's Queernow, pork jowl, and pancetta. They have about 6 types of bacon. Red wattle bacon. Oh, they have about 4 or 5 types of country ham, from Benton's ham all the way through to $100 a pound Spanish Serrano ham that's fed on Spanish chestnuts that they hand slice, and then they have amazing cheeses in a bakery, and they make sandwiches. So I had run in there to get a couple things for him, got a couple pieces of cheeses for us that were very nice and
the
pretty expensive, I would say, but very good.
Manager ran into you on that trip too, right?
Yeah, we're just chatting about pasta, but I don't know where that's going yet. So
maybe
I don't know.
We'll see. That would be a big account.
Yeah,
potentially.
So that would be interesting. But they are a very credible authority on food in the area. So I get in there a couple times a year, usually to splurge on a sandwich or usually some cheese. But occasionally I got a piece of Red Barn salami. They're hung dried salami. So I think they're out of Wisconsin or Minnesota. It might be Minnesota. But they make traditional hung pork sausages that are all, white mold on the outside and like made in Italy and Spain. They, I think, might be about the best sausage maker in the country right now. And so I was able to get a little piece of their vecchio, or their aged sausage with a little red wine in it. It's incredible.
Yeah. No,
Zingerman's thin little slices.
Zingerman's is amazing. I actually went to high school right next door to Zingerman's, and just their bread is really good by itself. And that was one of the things I could afford at lunchtime, was get some bread ends from Zingerman's.
Yeah, deer processors around here are not my favorite. There are a lot of them. They have their own process. If they're doing private processing, they are lightly regulated by the state, but it's very different than a USDA processor that's stamping for resale. They work very fast. They get very overloaded, especially during gun season. They clean extremely fast. They leave lots and lots behind. Around here, most people want jerky and grind in the back straps. So they're making stew, burgers, chili, things like that. And then they send some stuff for basic sausage. Europeans seam everything out, so we scrape the bones down. We take a lot more time doing it, but we really handle different cuts of meat and can set it up for all different, depending on the condition of the deer, just about anything. And then try and grind a little bit, but keep a lot for stew. We're gonna make some sausage. We're just hard freezing some of it right now, which is both to hold it so we have time, but also a safety mechanism to hard freeze meat to prevent any parasites by giving a good freeze. It's called certified pork. You can buy it for. But yeah, and then bones don't typically get used. Tails get thrown away. Shanks. It's just for the neck roll, which is kind of just ground up, can be made into copas, or is one of the best pieces for a roast. And a lot of the processors, just due to economy, fail to treat them with much respect or with much, or with a lot of waste. And I understand that, but we're trying to get around that. That's why we processed the first 4 were for friends who were actually kind of surprised at how nice and how much we got out of them. I said, well, and some of them we got paid and some of them we got traded some, and we didn't really take a lot for it. It's partly because we wanted to do it, but I think there's a lot to being said for, people around here will find roadkill and they will cut the backstrap out of roadkill quickly on the side of the road and leave it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, come on, guys. We made we're gonna make head cheese probably with one. Yeah, I mean, we've done all kinds of stuff. So it's really trying to bring it to full use.
Yep. Yeah, deer on the side of the road at 70+ degree weather with the head still on and skin still on.
Well, yeah, and I did a lot of reading on hanging because we hit a hot spell that got into the mid 60s while one of them was hanging, and I'm looking at, and of course these were gutted, so you want to eviscerate and get a clean removal of innards as soon as possible, within hours. You want to get them bled out right away to prevent blood being held in the muscles. Aside from that, there, a lot of hunters and a lot of blogs were like, well, you need to hang them no more than 1 day. If you don't get the cape or the skin off within the first day and get them chilled down, it's junk. It has a lot to do with the temperature. Obviously, once you get down around 45 and below, you can hang for days. Younger you hang less, older you hang longer. You obviously have to look at the condition, and you can have a high bacteria growth. The reality is we hung for 2.5 days, 3 days. We went through some pretty warm weather. We hung in a barn which was shaded and on a tree line and concrete floor, so it didn't get.
It stays cooler in there.
It stayed cooler, and we didn't have a bit of strong flavors. Taking the hide off lets it breathe and dehydrate more, which can be nice or cool down faster. It also, if there's ticks or other things, it helps remove them. But the idea that you have to get them caped and get them chilled within 1 day is, I think, really just old fallacy of scare tactics. And I mean, yes, there are some sanitary things, but hanging for a few days. If you're in the south and it's 80 degrees, obviously you gotta get it cooled down. Don't hang it out there for very long. But yeah, flies. Yes, flies are totally out of the picture for us. They've been out. So if you have flies, you got to be in a fly protected area. If you have heat, once you start moving above 55, I think you got to, 55 into 60, you really got to limit your time. You got to look at the condition of the kill, make sure ticks are removed. Obviously, if you get any strong smells, things that look like molding, and other stuff, you gotta handle that. But I think there's a lot of playroom, and traditionally people hung for a long time. Of course, sometimes they got sick, but we conscientiously hung a little bit, and that kind of helps concentrate and get some of the water out. So removing some of the water just makes things cook better and taste better. So and then I have a big fridge, so we could break it into quarters and put it in a fridge, and so we could let things continue to chill down and kind of dehydrate for a day or two before we vacuum packed to make sure things were a little drier. And we've been very, very happy with the results we got out of them. So, yeah.
No, we've had a few meals out of those. Yeah.
We have, and we've got quite a bit more coming. So
yeah, that was a great Christmas dinner, for that matter. So yeah, I guess one other Christmas tradition, and then we'll go on to the this is something I actually made because I don't cook much, but when it comes to my family's Christmas, we always had snickerdoodles.
We usually did too.
So
I think that's pretty normal through the Midwest.
Yeah.
Like snickerdoodles.
My grandmother always made snickerdoodles. Someone's driving her bus down the road. She has a big school bus. So yeah, so snickerdoodles were my last tradition. I think that's mainly our Christmas traditions. Meals changed a bit year to year because Thanksgiving was more static. On
Thanksgiving's always turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family, sometimes at home we'd frequently have turkey, sometimes ham. And my grandparents, we'd have turkey and ham at my grandparents, my dad's side, because there'd usually be a lot of people. On my mom's side of the family, rarely did we have turkey. We almost always had a roast. So usually it was a piece of a ribeye. My grandmother was part English, my grandfather was German, so um, background. So the idea of the big beef roast is very much part of the English expectation for Christmas if you're not doing a goose.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've done kind of all of the above. Of course, when we were in New York, it wasn't uncommon for people to have raviolis, lasagna, penne vodka, or some form of baked pasta like a baked ziti. Frequently hits the table too, and which we never had. I don't mind any of those for Christmas. On buffets, we would do that sometimes. So yeah, we have some form of larger special piece of meat. We made a ham and a turkey for
My
2 days
family.
after Christmas because we drove Christmas dinner across the state to Cindy's family again, like we did for Thanksgiving,
Yep.
due to COVID.
We did not all
So
get together, so we
yeah, the
delivered.
hot drop offs, everything all packed up.
Yeah.
So we did that.
So we catered.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's been kind of our holidays, and then it finally quieted down this last weekend. But we do have some things that are changing coming up, some things that are on our goal list. So we wanted to kind of get into those a little bit too. So I think one of the things that we've been talking a lot about is what to do with our chicken flocks, mainly Gus's flock. Gus usually has silkies, and right now he has one silky rooster because we've had bad proportions of raising. We had ended up with 5 out of 6.
Every time we hatch, we get almost all males.
Yeah.
We get very few that hatch. They're almost all males. The few females seem to be small and get picked off quickly.
Yeah.
All of them seem to disappear fairly quickly.
Well, I think part of the females getting picked off was when they go broody, they don't guard they just sit. They don't really, they're not aggressive like the others. They're great mamas. You can handle their chicks and all of that, but if you get a predator anywhere near them, they're done. They will not protect themselves, and so we've had issues with that with our silkies. So one thing I've been thinking about is using Gus as the guard for more of our breeding flock and kind of pick out the best male and best females and maybe even bring in some fresh blood, some fresh genetics, and do some crossing. So that is kind of what I'm leaning towards instead of doing silkies. I did get a Christmas present for Mike this year that was an incubator, a nice incubator that was on my wish list that actually rotates, so it turns the eggs once a day. You do have to. It does have a monitor for temperature and humidity, but it regulates the temperature based on the days that you're at, and humidity you can easily regulate. It measures it, but you can add water as needed. So it should be, one of the fancy ones, but not too expensive. So we'll see how it goes. First time we use it, maybe I'll put a short video when I put eggs in there, and do a short video when we hatch. You okay, Bella? Crash bang. So we'll get that going. So we're going to do that this spring. The other issue we've had is being able to raise chicks early enough, because we need them to start laying in August or September so that we can have eggs in the fall. We have no eggs right now. They should come, start laying again in sometime this month, actually. They should pick back up as the days get longer. But if we have more control over when we have chicks hatching, then we have more control over eggs year round. Yes? Without doing the lights. So somebody's back. So yeah, so that's kind of one area where we're working on going. Another area is the permaculture forest. We're getting more food discussions.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
So the pork roulade, that's great. Yeah, pork roulade is always good. Lasagna, no matter how you make it, is
I love lasagna.
always good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're due to make a bunch of lasagnas. The freezers are pretty full. I'm working on bringing down some of the stuff this month, but we do need to make 3 or 4 lasagnas at some point before it gets too busy and pack some away.
Yep. We're probably not gonna do Silkies, Tina. That's my
You
leaning
could
right
always
now.
throw a few in there.
They could always in the
See what happens.
main flock, but I just don't want to get them
Yeah.
them picked on because they're so much smaller than the others. Cat wants out. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, our chickens stopped laying. They were like 1, 2 eggs for the last month or a little more. We've been getting 0 eggs.
Yeah.
I think this is the longest period of no eggs we've ever had.
Yeah.
I've been buying eggs from one of the best
Farmers.
egg growers in the area, who happens to be pretty much next to me at market. He's great. We've done some collaborations on some projects. So.
Dwight.
Yeah. So.
It's who we got their
yeah, I got the goose.
Goose eggs from.
So I've been buying eggs from him. His eggs are amazing. So if we're gonna buy eggs, and he runs out most weeks. People really, we have a lot of egg sellers at the market, a lot of people buying eggs, but people have really gravitated to the quality of his eggs.
Yeah. So I don't even know. I haven't checked for eggs recently. We should probably start checking again.
Yeah.
Just to double check when they start laying. But yeah, so that's one end. We also have some goals in the permaculture forest. We have some plants coming in that we need to make room for.
Yeah, you bought me some quince?
Yeah, a variety of things. Quince, I think some hardy kiwi.
Which we tried to start, but really didn't do very well. It got eaten by the chickens and beat up this year.
Yeah.
The quince problem is they're supposed to be disease fire blight resistant, but people always question that they kind of harbor fire blight. So you need to keep them way away from apple trees. Some people just don't even grow them. So hopefully we got cold. You got to cold hardy and fire blight resistant, because that can be a problem.
Yeah. So I have a handful of. I don't even remember what I got. I think did I get some more? No, I got something else.
Well, I have 5 or 6 apple trees coming in.
Yeah.
I ordered some heritage apple trees, including the oldest, a grafting from the variety of the oldest apple tree in the United States, which is actually a pretty good eater, multi-use. Sounded interesting. So those are coming in the spring. So we've got to find some room to put in. And then I think we have a couple credits from the local farm where we had a couple things that just we didn't get or didn't whatever.
Yeah.
No, I think we got those all sent back in.
I think we got everything good.
Our Asian pears didn't start at all, so we're gonna have to
redo the Asian pears. But yeah, and I think on that end we need to make space for some of the things coming.
Yeah, we definitely need to work on getting some space.
Some locusts down, which means we have some wood.
We gotta
firewood.
We gotta find some time to take a lot of wood, some big wood down.
But I mean, we could do a little bit at a time if we have. Yeah, we gotta do what we can.
I'd like to take as much down at one time and haul as much of top branch into piles over a couple days so that I could bring a chipper in for get some of the big logs pulled out of the way, and then basically bring a chipper in and be able to chip a lot of that voluminous debris, and get it all out in one time, because renting a chipper is relatively expensive. It's fine for a day if you got a bunch of work to do.
So what are you doing?
So I'd like to preset that by either removing some of the long logs or creating paths and piles so we can actively do that.
Yeah.
If it's not too absolutely cold, it's not bad to do it in the winter, because you can it's kind of nice. You got firmer ground for trucks and not doing too much ground damage, and you don't have as much leaf material, so it can be a good winter project.
Little one is going through your cookbooks back there.
What are you tearing?
I don't think she's tearing.
She was tearing.
Was she?
Absolutely.
Oh no.
That's why it's The noise and
Yep.
stuff in her hand.
I missed the tearing. She was just playing a second ago. Not good.
Tear la cuquina.
We got we have boxes in front of bookshelves right now to protect some of them, but that one does not have boxes in front of it to protect it. So yeah, there are some other goals on the garden. I'm sorting the seeds this week to take inventory and going to start ordering this week is my goal by the end of the week. I was hoping to get that done last week, but distractions. And I think she might go for your books again.
Bella, come here.
Come on over here.
Get me Oma.
Bella, where's Oma? Bella, where's Oma? Can you get Oma? Balance check. No, where are the books?
So looking at all the egg activities, and we used to make frozen egg sandwiches, so we could put them out on the golf course at like 5 in the morning, so that the locker room attendant could microwave them. We created a pre-made biscuit, which was heated well. Mm-hmm. We actually bought pre-made omelets, which weren't bad. It's a frozen omelet, commercial frozen omelet item. I'm sure not as good as fresh eggs, and we would take a half of that, and then we'd use good old American cheese, and we'd wrap them all up and have them all frozen and ready to go, and we'd leave them at a couple places so that people coming in the wee hours of the morning when there was no staff who were complaining about no food could get something to eat. And took a bunch of work to get that all those components to reheat properly with a microwave, but we did it without having to buy a pre-made. Oh, and then we bought a pre-made sausage patty, I think, also a pre-cooked sausage patty, and all of it together was actually decent, considering that it got thrown in a microwave. We pulled off a pretty good product without having to buy something.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll work. We got it locked for the moment. Yeah. Not extremely securely. Yeah, so seeds. She's gonna figure out how to get to it. Seeds, permaculture, orchard, chickens. What else was on the list of things?
You're working in the greenhouse.
I'm gonna work on building up I have a video that I'm gonna put together on the greenhouse. Did a raised bed in there and building up the compost again to start seeds, because that did work really well last year. So I have an empty compost section now to start building and hopefully get that going for hot compost. Now the trick there is getting it built up fast enough to have
You need to start with a pile.
Yeah, I need a good pile. But we have sources of guinea pig bedding and rabbit bedding and goose poop from the coops outside. So I think that will help get things started. Yeah, she's tearing apart the box now.
That's all right.
Yeah. She is too smart for quick fixes. She's opening our doors around here now. I've had to get a few more childproof things.
She opened her door today.
She did open her door for the first time today. So we're going to have to start really being careful on things. She hasn't opened any doors to the outside yet. That's only a matter of time because it's the same kind of handle. It's a little heavier.
Cindy's been watching. Well, you've been watching a new YouTube channel to you.
Oh, you guys, I don't know.
So I think Rose in her dream life, if she doesn't mind cold weather, would probably take on the challenge of this couple.
It's Talasban or Talasbuan. I don't know how to say it, but Talasbuan. They have 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, some of you might have seen them or heard of them.
Yeah, they're in northern Sweden in a fabud, which I learned is a milkmaid's summer house when she took the cows out
up into the hills.
Yeah, out of town into the hills and to the pasture, so that they didn't have to feed them in town until winter. But yeah, keep checking on that one.
What, 7 or 8 years they've been living
Yeah.
out there. They're rebuilding and increasing the height of what we think of as a log cabin, but it's an old, Swedish milking house, and they've
Yeah.
been living pretty off grid, although they live close to town, so
They have access to a freezer in
Yeah.
town.
they can do some laundry and they can hold some meat because they don't have electricity.
Yeah.
They don't have a root cellar.
Yet.
They're pretty much doing everything themselves. It's a very, very slow process.
They're basically rebuilding this historic property, which is kind of
And using it in a somewhat similar manner.
Way.
They're using it more as a small homestead, not just for seasonal milking, but
they're doing year round in it.
and what she's studied artisan
cheese
cheese making for a year, and he studied charcuterie a little bit after that. I mean, since they've been living on the property, again, they have very limited money, and just the two of them, they have a younger baby, so everything is extremely slow. They're doing everything with pretty much hand tools.
You got it?
Although they have I guess they have an electric drill, and they have a computer and whatever they can charge on the
operated
yeah.
drill. Yeah.
They have a small solar panel, far from a whole house panel, that they're able to do some recharge.
Yeah.
And then they can get into the village.
So if you're looking for a new YouTube family to watch, it's really
their
interesting.
English is very good. As much as they say that they don't know the English words for things, it's actually very good.
Talisman, I believe.
And so I don't know if any of you've been.
If any of you guys heard them, they just popped up on my suggested videos one time, and I'm like, I like these guys. They're actually really good, and started watching from the beginning. They started about the same time we did, 2017 winter.
They went to some crazy snow.
Yes.
Like didn't have snow melt till the end of May one year.
And he's a great photographer too, so he's got some great videos and photos and footage. So.
Yep. So that's.
Think that box is gonna hold her.
And I have been watching. My gift to myself for Christmas was the overly advertised master classes, mostly because I wanted to watch the Apollinaire bread baking class. There's other things that are of interest, mostly in food, but it's an artisan French bakery that since the 30s her grandfather started. They've been making traditional sourdough, whole wheat blended, stone ground whole wheat blends, and rye and other things. So her father took over. She apprenticed through 18. However, her parents both died suddenly in a helicopter accident at 18, and she had to take over the bakery. Basically, instead of finishing her apprenticeship, she had to go run the family bakery and take over that operation. I don't know how long it's been. It's hard to tell how old she is, but I think they have 12 of them. They're just like a super premium bakery throughout parts of France because they still do the old style. And so I've been her bread classes are very good. I'm looking at my ratios that I've been working with, and my ratios almost match her ratios, which comes from the different information I have. So it's great to see that. I just wanted to validate and remember some of the professional bread classes I had years ago, and really appreciate what she's doing. So now that costs a bunch of money, although now I guess you get all the classes for a year for one price, and right now you can also give away a free gear to somebody else. So there's some promos, but it's a little under $200. So it was, so that's pricey, but there's a whole bunch of food stuff and other things. If you're really into arts and whatever, that might be something neat. But I was really jumping on the food and the bread.
You want to put it in the basket?
So yeah.
Good job.
Hello, Harvey.
Hello.
Got a few new people jumping in. Yes, we're heading.
Welcome. We're at the end of our show coming up here, but
we'll spend a few more minutes. But we do have a
giveaway that we have to do because we do that once a month, and
we've already given away two sources of information: a new site to subscribe to, and if you really want to pony up money, other information for classes from people that I have nothing to do. I have no connection to. But
hi, giggly girl. So you want to hold up the giveaway? the giveaway is a choice. We've given this away last winter as well, but it's for those of you guys who don't have it, the Vegetable Gardener's Week by Week Vegetable Gardener's Handbook.
Or the alternative is some half-eaten graham crackers from Bella.
No, probably not. Uh-oh.
Or,
yeah, no, probably not the half-eaten graham crackers. The alternative is always Mike's Pasta.
As my pasta company,
Yeah.
we will send out 2 bags of pasta, either our choice or if you tell us what you want, your choice. So you can tell us when, after whoever wins, what you may like. I do have some new artisan grains, some ancient grain, ancient wheat, some acorn grain, which is basically a primitive wheat, and then I have some historical wheat blend, red Fife red, turkey red, which is like pre-1960s cold weather bread flour, both in more in a whole wheat style. We made some pasta with that recently and just got it bagged up among everything else that's not even on our website. Is that
blended or is that straight? How are those?
The red turkey red and red Fife are blended. There might be a touch of spelt in that also.
No semolina or anything.
No. And then the einkorn is straight also. They both have flecks of the bran because it's the top cut out of the heavy bran's removed, and then the top cut I get, and the finer cut goes to a bread maker. So they do both present as a more nutty whole wheat, darker style, which is really nice with robust game and dark red sauces and stews. So those are brand new and not on the website. If interested.
My actual suggestion for this book is that you look up your average day of last frost. We gotta watch her with Puddin. You look up your average day of last frost and you mark it in here, and it walks you back to what you should start when, how many weeks before the last day of frost, and it walks you from that point forward as well. So basically through the whole year. And my suggestion is to write your dates in here, but then get a planner to go with it. And I will actually give away both a little basic planner along with this book, because then every year you get yourself a new planner and you're not actually writing in this book, because then you'd have to buy this book again, and a new planner is a few bucks, and this book's a little bit not expensive, but it's more than that, a planner. So that way you can reuse that book every year. It does have a lot of tips in it as well, so I do like that book. I haven't read all parts of it. The nice thing is you can pick your parts you want to read based on what you're working on at the time. So, is she getting into things in the kitchen?
I don't know. She's got a boot.
She's got a boot. Stealing shoes. So, the question, and we're going to have the rules first.
I can't believe she's staying up this late.
I know,
she is in bed like 2 hours ago. So.
She is going. But, okay. The rules are whoever answers the question first in our chat wins. Now, it's open to everybody here, so everybody who's in the room can answer. We're not going to exclude people who've won recently because there's just not that many people in the room. So whoever wants to answer can answer. The question is, how many deer did Mike process this fall? How many deer did Mike process?
You could ask how many of them I killed.
That would be a trick question in a way. How many deer did Mike process? I'm waiting. There's a delay on this. So.
Well, that could be a very tricky question.
What?
You asked how many I processed this year. It's a new year.
Oh gosh, no! This fall, sorry, my first question. This fall, the season, whatever. This season. Wholesome Roots.
There you go, Wholesome Roots.
Wholesome Roots just beat out Carrie.
Carrie was just seconds
behind. It was 5 deer.
4 technically last year and 1 this year.
Well, we didn't get into the details on that. I'm not going to go there. 4 bucks. 1 doe, 5 deer processed this season.
Actually, that's not really true because the one was killed on Christmas, I think, or the day after, and we processed it kind of in between, and I just finished packing it after the New Year. So yeah,
okay.
it's 5.
This season. That's 5. Hey you, what's going on? So
you saw answers long before I asked the question. Well, that must be your delay. So that's how long.
Yeah.
For my mom's question, so some of the delays is very long.
Yeah.
So
that's unfortunate when these things, but yeah, some you must be a little slower internet than the others. So
0 in 2021, yeah, that's right. So Rose, send us a email or a private message to our website, or send Cindy's phone,
Facebook page,
Facebook, whatever. Or tell us if you'd like 2 bags of pasta. Look at our website if that's what you want, or if you want the gardening book, tell Cindy that, and we will work on getting them out.
Send me an email at parttimepermies@gmail.com. Parttimepermies, all one word, at gmail.com if you want to just say which one you would like and where to send it, because you also have a new house. But if you have a P.O. box, we can send there too. Yes. So congratulations to Rose. And yes, beautiful Bella is way past her bedtime and still going nuts. I think needs another new diaper before bed.
That would be good.
Yes. So yeah, go ahead and Facebook message me. But yeah, I don't know. Is there any other questions?
Yeah, any other questions, discussions?
To wrap up the first live show of the year. For those of you guys who joined in later, we will do these every month, the first Sunday of the month at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can always join us. If you hit the bell underneath, you should get notifications.
Buffering has been really bad for us also. We've been up around 4,600 kilobytes, which is really strong for us. Yeah. So I don't know why things are behaving. Maybe it's Sunday night and people are going back to work tomorrow and they're kind of chilled out for a moment, but I don't know.
Our internet recently has been working a lot better, I found. Yeah. She is a goof. She is excited about sitting on a box that's
we are on once a month this time of year.
Yes.
It's been awfully busy. It was weekly, but yeah, for quite a while it's been first Sunday evening, 9 o'clock.
First Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time of each month.
And then random videos once or twice a month.
And this month I didn't get
pretty slowed down. My business is quite busy. Cindy's busy with work, and
I'm actually changing jobs this month.
Yeah. So and then Bella's taking time, so we're awfully busy.
Yes.
But yeah, look for a couple things a month and lives at the beginning of the month.
Yeah. So I think otherwise, if there's no other questions, Happy New Year, everyone, as well. Yeah, I think we need to get Bella to bed, and we need to get to bed too, because we have to work tomorrow.
Yep, got a lot going on. We're doing heavy clean down and shutting down the pasta kitchen for most of the week for scrub down and painting and touch up once a year. So yep.
Once a year reset, and I gotta work fairly long hours recently because my whole department is switching locations to basically a different. We're at a non-hospital right now, but we're going to a hospital in a few weeks. So we are trying to get everything set.
Tina, we did get some icing off and on for the last couple of days, and then it got just a touch colder than expected. We got about 2 inches of snow going into Saturday morning. So the roads were a little icy and a little crazy, not terrible.
Yeah.
If you don't touch the brakes, they're not so bad on the highway. So yeah, we did have it wasn't overly cold. It's right around the freezing point, but we had about 2 inches of snow down at market. However, we had quite a few people show up. So considering it was the first market of the year, I can't complain. It will only get better with more vendors and more people. So we were all encouraged. I always have no expectations for winter market, so there's no disappointments if there's just a couple coins in the pocket that barely pay for gas some days, but other days we have good days. And so I did have a number of people come down specifically for us. One person traveled from quite a distance,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't have recommended with the icy
Icy
roads to
weather.
do that, but I would have said, why don't you just let us mail order it? But
Yeah.
we did have people coming down. We have gotten to a point where every week we have people that come out of their way for us, which is kind of a good feeling. It also means we need to make sure we're there and not skipping. We don't really skip markets, but yeah, we don't want to let people down. So,
Bella wants to push a school bus. What's wrong? You keep running into shoes.
well, she didn't put all the shoes everywhere. They would be nothing to run into.
She's 14 months. She didn't get that planning idea.
Yeah.
So yes, we will say good night. Yes, and we miss you too, Kara. We gotta figure things out with how things are adjusting here
hopefully
soon.
something coming up in the winter while things are still slow. Get people to come and visit. COVID is settling a little in Michigan, although I know it's not settling a lot of the country, but it has been getting a little better from our peak. And we're hoping that they open up the state. Restaurants are shut down still, and we're hoping things 2 weeks roughly that they start relaxing restaurants so that people can get back to work, and we'll kind of hoping things get better from there. We'll see.
Yep. So we are gonna have to say bye bye. Can you say bye bye? Can you say bye bye? You say night night. Bye bye. You're not gonna do it. You cute. You see right there? You say bye bye. We're not gonna do it. She does normally. We're gonna say good night, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next month, and hopefully I'll get a couple videos out in between. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.